Hello again, everyone. So today I'm going to do a kind of preview of the second round of the NBA playoffs. I know we've had a couple from first games in the second round started already, so I'll kind of go over those first couple games, and then I'll preview all four of them and kind of who I think is going to win each series and my reasons behind that. So first series I'll talk about is the Warriors and Grizzlies series. The Warriors did win Game 1, 101-86, so they kind of gave a good thumping to the Grizzlies there in Game 1. They did play without Connolly, the Grizzlies did in Game 1, so obviously, the Warriors are going to take advantage of that when their opponent has a depleted roster, and you don't take advantage of that. You've had a missed opportunity. So clearly, they did take advantage of that opportunity and ran with it. The Warriors, obviously, with Curry, who has been playing so hot recently. I know, bad pun. I have to though. If it's there, I'm going to take it. So Curry's been playing so hot recently, and he is reported to be getting the MVP this year, which he definitely well deserved. So far in the playoffs, looking at the averages from the first round, kind of thing, he was averaging 33.8 points per game as well as 7.3 assists, which is fantastic. If you can average 25 points a game, that's really great. And he was averaging almost 10 more than that. And in the first game, he had 22 points and 7 boards. So he stepped up in that first game for sure as well. But for the Warriors to advance, they're gonna have other guys step up for sure as well. Thompson is a great number two option with behind Curry there. Thompson averaged 25 points in the first round, and last night he had 18 points. 3 boards and 6 assists. So between Curry and Thompson, you have two guys who can potentially get you 50 plus points. Last night they just combined for 40, but based on the first round, they have the opportunity with just two guys to get 50 points a game, and then the rest of your lineup, the other 5-6 guys that see the court, if they can chip in with 40, 45 kind of thing, then you can easily have some wins and win this series if your defense is strong. Other guys to keep an eye on with Golden State, obviously Green, who as in the first round was averaging 15.8 points and 12.8 boards, and 12.8 boards, that's fourth best in the league in the playoffs for rebounds per game. So Green is definitely doing a good job with that. Last night he had 16 points and 4 boards. And then Bogut, he's been contributing with 9 rebounds per game kind of thing as an average in the first round, but only 6.3 points. So I think Bogut kind of has to step up when it comes to points per game kind of thing. As good as Curry and Thompson are, two guys aren't going to win you a championship. It is going to take a whole team. So if those other guys can step up, then they can do that. How the Grizzlies could potentially win this series, I think, is if Lee can continue to play strong, Gasol continues to play strong. Last night, Gasol had a almost double-double, 21 points, 9 boards, and then Lee has been averaging 17.2 points per game. Last night, 9 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, so he was a little down last night. Again, not having Conley hurts for sure because he's been averaging 16 points per game this playoffs. But they do have the talent, I think, to potentially pull up an upset. But at the same time, I do just think the Warriors are too strong. I think Curry and Thompson are just too good. They got other good guys around them that are going to step up, and I think I'm going to take Golden State to win this series in 6. Flipping over, I'll talk about the Atlanta Wizards series. Right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you who I'm gonna take in this series, and I'm gonna take Washington to win it in 6, and I'll tell you why I think that's gonna happen. Yes, they did win Game 1, 104-98, so they're already up a game, but I think Washington has a little bit deeper of a roster. I know when you look at the Hawks, they had a bunch of all-stars, and they're first in the East and that kind of stuff. But I think Washington's a little more well rested. Obviously, they took the Raptors in a 4-game sweep, so I think they're a little more rested. But I think they also just have more. I don't want to say playoff experience, but I think they're that kind of team that can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, even though they're playing, yes, the number one seed in the East. The thing is, the Hawks are the number one seed in the East, and the main thing about that is it's the Eastern Conference. You don't have to be a great team to be a number one seed in the East. If Atlanta was playing in the West, they probably might have been maybe a 4 or 5 seed kind of thing if they were lucky, kind of thing. But playing in the East made them a number one seed. And I think it's a little misleading with them being the number one seed in the East. Atlanta does have talent for sure. Carroll, 17.5 points per game, 7.2 boards in the first round. He had 24 points last night. And then you got Millsap, who's 15.7, 9.7 boards. Last night he had 15 points, 12 boards, 8 assists, so he's definitely stepped up. And then you also have Horford and Teague, who respectively have 14.3, 14.2 points per game in the first round. Horford last night, 17 points, 17 boards, and 7 assists. So they definitely have guys that are stepping up, and the Hawks can win this series. I got a feeling Washington's going to pull an upset here. And the reason I'm going to say that is Beal has been playing fantastic in this playoffs. 20.8 points per game average in the first round. Last night he went off with 28 points and seven boards. So he's got the talent there. And then you got John Wall, who is leading the league in assists per game right now. First round 17.3 points per game and 12.5 assists. Then last night he had 18 points, 7 boards, and 13 assists. So between Beal and Wall, I just think you have two amazing guards there that can win you a championship. You put Gortat down low, who last night had 12 points, 12 boards, so he can easily average double-double and get you 10 boards a night. And then you got Paul Pierce, who is a great veteran, who knows success, has been on championship teams. He's been averaging 15.5 points per game in these playoffs, and last night he had 19 points. So I think Washington is going to pull the upset in this series and win it in 6, based on Beal and Wall. I just think they got a little bit deeper roster kind of thing. Atlanta doesn't have that one or two guy that can go out and get 25 plus points per game. They kind of, all the guys I've mentioned, Carroll 17.5 average in the first round, Horford and Teague 14.2, 14.3, Millsap with 15.7 kind of thing, Korver 15.5. So you got a lot of guys that can average 15 points a game kind of thing, but you don't have that one guy that stands out, or that one or two guys that are going to stand out and get you a championship. So that's why I'm taking Washington to win this series. Flipping over, I'll talk about the Cleveland-Chicago series. Even with Cleveland now being without Kevin Love and J.R. Smith suspended for 2 games, I still think Cleveland's going to win this series. I just think Chicago is not at 100% health-wise, and Butler I don't think can do it all by himself. Butler in the first round, fantastic, 24.8 points per game, 5.5 boards, 3.8 assists. That's solid. That's great for a team. But Derrick Rose, I say only averaged 19 points per game and 6.5 assists, but that's because I expect Derrick Rose to be your 25 points per game kind of a player, and he just hasn't been that for Chicago. Gasol has been great on the boards, and he chips in with 16.3 points per night and 11.8 boards in the first round, averaging those. So Gasol's a great guy to have down low, but then your other big man down low, Noah, great on the glass as well. He averaged 11.7 rebounds per game in the first round, but he was only averaging 6.5 points. So when you look at Butler, Rose, Gasol, and like I said, Gasol's great on the glass, so if he doesn't chip in with 20 plus points, that's okay. I think you would give that up to have a guy who's going to be getting in 10 plus boards, but Noah is only chipping in with 6.5 points, and I think if Chicago expects to advance in this series, Rose has to step up by at least 4 or 5 points per game, and Noah's got to get into the double digits in points per game as well. And I mean, obviously I'm going to talk about LeBron James with Cleveland and Kyrie Irving and stuff, and I think even without Kevin Love was the number 3 option when you look at it with Cleveland. He wasn't their go-to guy. And they got a lot of other players who are on the bench that on other organizations they would be in the starting 5, kind of thing. And LeBron James has been playing great these playoffs, 27 points per game, 9 boards, 6.5 assists, and then Kyrie Irving's averaging 23.3 points per game with 5 boards and 4.3 assists as well. So you got another 1-2 combination in this series between James and Irving that they can go out and get 50 points a night just between the two of them. So then the other guys on the team, if they can chip in with their 40 points, I can easily see Cleveland being able to beat Chicago in 92 to 80 games, kind of like 92 to 80, and like not triple digit scoring games. I think Cleveland will be able to win this series in 5 and beat Chicago. Last series, the Clippers and Rockets series. I think this series is going to go to 7. I think this is going to be the deepest series out of all of them. Clippers obviously a great first round series against the Spurs. Houston, though, I think will win this series in 7. I'm going to take them to win it, purely based on I think Houston has a deeper bench. They have a deeper team. Griffin, Paul, and Jordan are great players, don't get me wrong, but they don't really have many options outside of that when you look at the Clippers. Griffin's averaging 24 points a game, 13 boards. Paul's averaging 22.7 points per game with 8 assists. And DeAndre Jordan's averaging 12.6 points with 13.3 boards. So you got 2 guys that are averaging 13 boards a night, and then Griffin with 24 points, Paul with 22, Jordan with 12. You got, again, between Griffin and Paul, you could easily have another 2 guys that can go out and get you 50 points. But when they're not on the court, when DeAndre Jordan's not on there, you got Glenn Davis. And if Paul and Griffin aren't on the court, Turkoglu's probably on there, and he's been playing like crap. Doc Rivers' son, Rivers, obviously, he needs to step up. I think playing for his dad is cool, but he hasn't been producing for the team. So I just think the Rockets have a deeper bench, and I think the number two guy who arguably could have won the MVP for sure with James Harden, obviously he's been averaging 28.4 points per game with 7.8 assists, so he's been playing really, really well. And then you got Dwight Howard, who's leading the league in rebounds per game this postseason with 13.8, and then he's also got 16.6 points. That's fantastic. And then you look at Smith and Brewer on their bench, who respectively have 17.4 points per game and 14.4 points per game. You got two guys on your bench that can get you almost 40 points a game. There's 30 to 35 points a game just from two guys on your bench. Your starters go out and get you 50 to 60. You're gonna win some games. That's their bench is just, I think, deeper than the Clippers bench, and I think the Rockets will win this series in 4. So those are my thoughts on the round 2 of the NBA playoffs. Hope everybody's enjoying the playoffs. You can follow me on Twitter at GHAM614, and thank you again all for watching. Bye.